So around 76% of people in e-commerce stores actually lose money from Facebook ads. And in this video, I felt like I should just prevent you guys from actually entering and being a part of that 76%. So I'll be talking about some mistakes that I've done from actually running Facebook ads. Now, I've not done all of these mistakes. I've done about 3 of these 5 mistakes. So in this video, we'll be talking about 5 mistakes that beginners actually do on Facebook ads and how to avoid those mistakes. So let's jump into it with number 1 being focusing on the wrong audience. Now, luckily for me, this is something I've never done. This is actually the only mistake I've never done in this list of 5 mistakes, sadly. But focusing on the wrong audience, and a lot of people focus on the wrong audience. The wrong audience being that you don't understand or don't know what platform your ideal market is on. You don't understand like the jargon words they use. You don't understand the systems they use. You don't even understand like where the majority of the market or of your ideal prospect is trying to get, right? Because all you're going to be is a bridge between from where they are to where they want to be, and you're just the bridge between those two things. You're providing a solution. And if you don't really have your ideal prospect dialed down, then your ads will fail because you don't know where your audience is or who your audience really is. And I have a video going more in depth with that. I'll leave a little link right up here. You can literally just click that thing and it'll take you straight to that video. Not tracking your numbers. Now, this is something I've fallen into, and I had to learn the hard way that Facebook actually tends to take credit take credit of other platforms' metrics, right? So if you're running ads on Facebook and Google Ads, well, if Google Ads tells you that 3 people purchased a product, then Facebook will say that it's the one that got you those 3 purchases. Along with the fact that actually not tracking your ads properly or not tracking your numbers specifically actually causes you to kill the right ads and scale the wrong ads, right? So I've actually made it a requirement to ensure that each client I gets their own like tracking spreadsheet, so that I ensure that I can actually connect their Facebook ad with, through using like Zapier, connect their Facebook ads with the spreadsheet and fill in all the, like it fills in all the data automatically. Along with the fact, like once that happens, it also sends, like Zapier sends an email to the actual client or whoever like purchased the product from my client. It actually sends an email to them and asks them like where they heard about my client. Like perhaps it was from a Google ad or perhaps it was from a Facebook ad. And if it was from a Facebook ad, like what sort of creative they see on the Facebook ads. And now doing that, like people tend to assume that doing that is bad. And honestly, doing that is not bad, and it won't hurt any of your metrics or your numbers. It won't hurt anything as long as you do it after they've purchased a product or after they've booked a call, right? Because when you do it after, that way, like there's nothing they can do about it because they've already purchased the product from you, right? Whereas if you were to do it before they purchased a product or before they booked the call, you're most likely going to see your churn rate increase because they're just too lazy to go into detail telling you where they come from or how they actually end up purchasing the product, right? The next thing is complicating your campaigns. Or like, let me just continue on not tracking your numbers. See, other sort of numbers you should be tracking is your LTV and your CAC, which is basically your lifetime value of a client or customer, and the cost to acquire a new client. And this is something I've been preaching for the past 2 weeks, and it's because it is a very important thing. Tracking your numbers ensures that you can tell the difference between a good ad and a bad ad, and you know exactly when you need to kill bad ads and which ads to scale, right? So the next thing being complicating your campaign. A lot of people actually just complicate their ads and their ad structure, their campaigns, thinking that Facebook ads is complicated, and them doing that makes them more smart, which it honestly doesn't, right? It makes them smarter. Sorry. So they think that complicating their ads and their ad structures and campaigns makes them smarter, which it honestly doesn't. It just makes their life way more harder. Because honestly, this is what I'd suggest your ad, like your ad structure look like, right? So you should have 3 campaigns, yes, regardless of the ad spend that your client will be giving you, or like how many ad creators you have. You should have 3 campaigns. One being a test campaign where you only run ads for like things you want to test, right? So perhaps you want to test a new creative, test a new ad copy. That's where you do, or like test a new interest. That's where you're gonna go ahead and do that. Next, you have cold, right? And on the cold audience, this is basically ads that come from the test campaign, but you've moved them from test to cold because you want to scale them up, right? So maybe on test you're running like a $5 or $10 ad, right? But then when you take it to cold, you're running it at like $50, right? Because it's now been proven to actually be a viable ad, right? And the last campaign is the retargeting campaign, which is basically where you retarget people who like bounced from your scheduling page or they abandoned cart, right? And in both those situations, it actually allows you to retarget them with Facebook ads. And I actually like this is like such a great thing, right? So I don't run any, like, I'm at a point where I don't run any ads, like inbound ads to get clients, right? But I do use retargeting ads for clients who land on my thank you, like, like once they book an appointment or a call with me, they land on a thank you page, and I run retargeting ads for that thank you page, and it only costs about like $1 a day. So it's basically around like 17 to 20 rand a day to run that retargeting. Because like when you're retargeting emails or like people who, like, who they are and you're just retargeting them, like the costs are just incredibly like low, right? That, and like it's like 1 cent, like 1 cent an impression, or 1 cent per reach, right? Because that's your audience. It's not like you're showing the ad to people who don't know you. You're showing the ad to people who know you, and Facebook knows that they know you, which is why they decrease the cost to show people ads, right? So that's a really great thing about that. So now you have your 3 campaign structures, right? You have cold, you have test, and you have retargeting. Now underneath each one is about 3 to 5 different ad sets of you testing different things, or like combining different things, such as the ad copy, the ad creative, or even the interest, right? That's the sort of things you'd be changing around and playing with in the ad sets inside the campaigns. And I'd suggest about 3 to 5 ad sets per campaign. Don't know how to turn a stranger into a client. See, a large majority of agencies, they don't know what their system is, like their client system specifically. In this video, their client system specifically, right? And not knowing how your client turns a stranger into a paying client or a paying customer, really, it's like a very big issue that hurts and is seen through your Facebook ads. Because you need to be able to understand your client, and you need to understand that process of turning a stranger into a client from A to Z, because that way you're actually able to run ads properly and use the correct sort of like jargon and words and steps in your ads to ensure that it actually resonates with your client's audience, right? The next is focusing on vanity metrics. See, a lot of people think that what they should do is look at the likes that their ads get, or look at the positive comments or the followers or subscribers that they get from each ad, which is a horrible way of looking at it, right? Because like you can get ads that are very highly effective, only getting like 20 likes and like 100 dislikes, but then the conversion rates of that ad are incredibly high. That is an ad I would still keep, even like regardless of the likes and dislikes, because it is a proven ad that works, right? And looking at comments is something that will on its own hurt your mental state, because you will always find a negative comment, regardless if you're the person who gives the most amount of money to charity, or if you're a tyrant, right? Regardless of which of the two you are, you'll always get a negative comment on your Facebooks, on your like ads, regardless of whether it's a Facebook ad or a Google ad, right? So that is something you need to also understand. And looking at numbers such as followers, subscribers, likes, comments, it doesn't mean anything to your ROI and conversion rates, because it's not a money driven results, right? So just because you've increased your clients or your own Instagram followings by like 200,000 doesn't mean your clients' sales will increase, right? Because you could have gotten that 200,000 from a country like a Philippine country, or a third world country where a follow is only like 0.01 cents per follower, right? Because those are like useless, low quality followers. The only time I ever run Facebook ads and I'm concerned about the likes is literally in the first week where I run ads for a client. I'm only running like ads. That way, because like when you like first starting to run ads on Facebook, Facebook always favors pages with a lot of likes and a lot of engagement. So I just suggest, like, the first thing you do before actually running the real ads for your client, first thing you do is maybe like create like 3 or 5 posts, post them on your client's Facebook page, and then run a likes campaign to, like, because like pages, they don't get followers, they get likes. So run a likes campaign and have that likes campaign reach to 5,000 likes, right? And once you get to 5,000 likes, you can like kill that ad and get straight into focusing on the money driven metrics, right? Like the CAC, the LTV, and the CPA, right? Those are the things you should be focusing on. But yeah, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right underneath me, and hit the like button if you found this valuable. Till I see you guys in a minute.